Aloha, good morning, good evening, all the viewers and the racers.
And wasabi.
my, my fellow commentator, Serpent Text here. Looks like we're getting a short timer test from Ax2u. Which is good. Sometimes need to do that just to make sure that there's no timer bugs. At least that's how the marathon works. Not
Yeah.
sure if being in races.
We had a couple of those already.
in races, you mean?
Yeah, I think we had a couple of 0 seconds out of the King's Pass transition.
Oh, that's just the fastest I've seen King's Pass for sure. Anyway, it looks like we'll be counting down the race pretty quickly here. This was supposed to start a couple seconds ago. So, right. Let me get to races discussion. Alright, both runners say they're ready to start. Should both be on the Steel Soul selection screen pretty soon. Probably just a little bit of delay there. But I'll go ahead and start the countdown.
We should do it out loud, so make sure that they hear it at the same
All right.
time.
Sounds good. Alright, I'm gonna start. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Good luck, racers. Ax2u happy.
Ax2u happy. Alright, now, I think you've watched a fair bit of Ax gameplay. Is there anything that you would expect to see Ax do? Any particularly hard tricks or special movements that he might have started picking up in runs that maybe we won't be seeing from many other runners?
You know what? That's actually... I'm trying to think of something or like anything at all, and honestly, Ax doesn't really do anything very fancy or like special. Like he does Pog Axe and just like he just does things basic and just really well.
No, that's the magic of Axe runs, isn't it? That he just seems to pull the time almost out of nothing. He doesn't do anything super duper crazy, but he manages to find time save that most other runners would struggle to pull out.
Yeah. Maybe he's got a good brain or something.
A rarity. I'm sure he'd disagree with that statement, but
Colby here is expecting a distant village underplat.
distant village underplat seems reasonable. I believe I've seen it. I've seen him practicing this on stream.
Oh, yeah.
Very recently, Ax was able to get a over 6-second PB, I believe, bringing it to 50:06. Spicie, on the other hand, having around a 54-minute personal best, as far as we know.
Yeah.
It looks like they're just pausing to sync up just a little bit here around the traditional place, right around the lore tablet. But 51 King's Pass for Ax, 53 for Spicie.
That's just exactly what I was talking about. Just simple, pure, great execution.
There's not a lot of tricks that you can do in King's Pass to make it much faster, but if you just do perfect inputs.
I mean, have you seen the task Ax put together like recently?
No, I have not actually.
It was a task where he went through the entirety of King's Pass using like a nail turnaround tech, which is just insane to look at, and like you turn around so perfectly and you whack the wall behind you so that it pushes you.
Yeah,
And it saves 0.05 seconds, and it's just
Brilliant. So it looks like both of our runners made it through the first RNG check of the run, which is the Gruz drop. Neither of them got hit. We'll be seeing how they handle our double spike here. Excellent double spike from Ax. Missing one, which only costs a few seconds from Spicy. And he'll pick up most of the Geo as well. It seems to be one of the downsides of getting the double spike, seems to be that the Geo just spreads out way too far to collect efficiently. But it's not actually a huge loss, as you can see, only missing a couple of Geo from Ax compared to Spicy.
Correct potential correction from Slorent here. Ax did not make the task, but at least he made the comparison by putting the world record cape, King's Pass, individual level time, side by side to it and compare. That he did.
Ax going for the
Also,
statue pogo, Spicy as well.
both fantastic statue pogos.
I always find it interesting to see which runners, especially runners closer to my skill level, are willing to put in the amount of practice required to pull that off consistently, and how many of them just skip it entirely. I feel like most that I've seen do go for it, and it makes sense for the runners of this caliber to go for it at least. With so much practice being put into the game anyway, I think you may as well learn a few extra strats. But here we'll be seeing the first boss fight, quote unquote, of the game. Hardly feels like a boss fight when you just fight one phase and then skip the rest. But that is what the runners are going to do.
I'm actually kind of surprised how they both were on 13 Geo there. Showing
Yeah.
how it looks. It doesn't matter that much if you get the double spike then, maybe.
No, it doesn't. It also, yeah, there's always just a potential to either pick up extra or miss extra Geo around the False Knight Arena, just on the position of the husks. You want all the husks to be as far left as possible, and that way you can collect it on the way to exiting the boss's arena rather than having to walk all the way back to the right to pick it up. So it seems like both of them had very similar RNG on the husks there.
An actual 330. A 330 versus a 339 VS, which is just showing the difference between great players and elite players. It's like,
Yeah.
is actually crazy.
And that is something that is probably going to come up several times in this race.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, we did not see any Trinomi planks. We hate to see it.
I don't expect to see many very big mistakes from Spicy. I checked their monster stats on their first race. They didn't die at any point in their run. It seems like they might have played it a little bit safe, or maybe had a little bit of fun on the way, considering that they were 3 minutes behind their personal best. But, you know, it's a race. 3 minutes behind personal best isn't entirely unnormal, but I do think we'll be seeing a little more urgency to their gameplay as they come up against Ax here. So I'm curious how much closer to PB this race is going to be. Ax is about a full room transition ahead of Spicy right now. We'll see if he's able to grow that lead or whether Spicy can close the gap coming up here. The last time I watched Ax race... Oh, well, that'll be a quick time save for him there.
Oh, that was an example of nail turnaround as well. Probably not on purpose, but...
Ax is a little short on soul. That means he'll either skip this fireball skip entirely, or he'll just luck out on the Balder RNG and get it anyway. That's the second time I've actually seen that happen in a race, where the runner will come in with 5 soul and then just miraculously get a Balder. It's some sort of RNG manipulation. Not really, but that's what it seems like. Spicy actually managing to get the fireball skip while Ax had missed it. So that's going to be another 4 seconds back over to Spicy.
And both runners entering green path on very decent paces, to be honest.
Oh
Like
yeah, absolutely. A lot better.
Ax looking set for a 750, a 75x Mothwing Cloak as always. Spicy a low 8 maybe.
Yeah, it's always nice to watch races like this where you can just pick up on smaller movements and still just feel impressed with looking at a player so much higher level. There's a lot to learn. But in some cases not so much, as it's hard to pick up exactly all the small things that they do to put them in the lead like this. All
So
right,
fireball
Ax.
skip, of course.
Ax nails the second and third fireball skips, while Spicy is looking to nail all three here. Oh,
Oh,
misses his second fireball timing. That's all right. The time loss is not quite
ooh.
negligible, but it's relatively small, especially if you get that little man pogo he showed off there.
When you get that man pogo, it's actually an edge word. I think it just loses like 1.2 seconds if you get that on the first try
Ah,
afterwards.
brilliant. I actually
What?
didn't realize the time save was, or the time loss was smaller than the first fireball skip.
I might be misremembering though. I might be thinking of in current patch where the RNG is always like that, so you can always man pogo if you just go straight for it. So
Fair enough, but he got the RNG that would look similar to the current patch setup. I
yeah.
believe both runners got the faster Moss Knight kill, where you're able to save a little bit of extra soul on the first Moss Knight, double fireball hit, meaning that they didn't have to collect as much soul. I definitely saw Spicy go for it. I've seen a few different setups for that, with some people going for a fireball on the ground before jumping for the double, and some people starting with the double and finishing them off after.
Also, both runners being blessed with decent RNG so far, which is really nice to see.
Yeah, that's actually 10 geos short of what some runners are. Or he's 10 geos short of Spicy, about 7 geos short of what the runners I've heard want to have around here. But I'm sure
Yeah.
he'll be able to make that up later, perhaps with some spicy hopper strats.
Ooh, that's actually something that's something fancy we will see. He
Oh,
did practice those actually
some fancy
earlier this
hoppers.
week. Yeah.
Okay. Both runners
Uh,
getting pretty fast Mothwing cloaks. With Spicy now about 20 seconds, which will be probably 1 or 2 rooms behind Axe. Maybe 3.
20
Um,
seconds. 20 seconds, while a lot, is not actually that much. If Axe does anything big, any big mistakes,
yeah,
he can lose those immediately,
yeah,
pretty much.
yep. I've seen top runners miss Mantis Pogo and having to go all the way around, um, especially if there's nerves during a race. It's not something I'd particularly expect from Axe specifically, but anything can happen.
For sure. Almost demonstrating it right there.
Yeah, an acid dunk would be interesting, but not quite what Spicy would need to catch up, but it would be a start.
Also, he did a Sedic turnaround nail swing.
Oh, I've not seen that. Sedek is just a master of finding cursed turnarounds, isn't he?
Yeah. I I think he just really has some inert hatred towards balls or something.
Just needs to lash out at them. All right, so coming up here, we'll be seeing Axe farm some Geo Rocks that you do not get in any percent. Some people have to muscle memory it in, make sure that they don't forget that 40 Geo. The reason Geo routing, I shouldn't be talking about Geo routing during Explosion Pogo. What am I doing? Um, That's a trick most people who have watched Hollow Knight speedruns are probably going to know anyway, though. The explosion pogo. You can bounce on explosions in this game. It's very cool. And here's the Mantis pogo. The only other trick where you can really lose a significant amount of time in fungal wastes. And Axe nails it, but then misses a couple of jumps afterward. Spicy actually damage tanking the explosion didn't seem to be intentional. Yeah, it seemed like he doesn't usually go for that damage tank.
Spicy just missing the timing on the jump up. I think maybe in tournament nerves. You never know. Still not the end of the world though.
Not at all,
Oh,
no. Oh, this Mantis? Yeah,
e-
if you can just pull the Mantises right out like that,
easy backup.
they kind of make a ladder of themselves almost. There's just almost no dashing or anything required from that.
In fact, I think that's actually the preferred setup for glitched any percent categories where you don't have dash at that point.
Yes, that's actually exactly what we do in our runs, and it has helped me learn that backup specifically. Um, I very reliably miss the Mantis Pogo, but always fail to care because I end up losing just maybe 2 seconds at the most if I can get that back up.
Yeah. Also, Axe demonstrating back there in the golem room exactly how hard the most simple of movement is in this game. And Jennifer is live.
I was talking to a Blue Fire runner just yesterday about how much harder Hollow Knight is to run. He was saying that even though he runs a category that's almost twice as long as all skills in Blue Fire, it feels easier just because the game overall is not as movement heavy or intense. And that was impressive to hear from him because he does really love both games. But Axe looking to clean up the Gruzmother babies with 2 fireballs. Looks like he'll need a few nail swings. Oh, but
Unlucky
the
with the
movement.
spread there.
His movement is almost as if he knows exactly where every Gruz is going to go anyway.
Yeah.
And he's able to make minimal time loss out of that bad RNG.
Seriously, did these runners have their RNG synced up? They're getting the same patterns every time right now, and it's lovely to see actually.
Yeah, yeah. You really do like to see a run where the RNG is around the same between runners. Oh wow, actually
This is a
taking a
bit
lot of
scary
damage.
actually.
Yeah, the Gruz babies can kill you. It's very unlikely, seeing as you usually enter the fight with 5 HP, and then you take a bench immediately after. So there's not too much risk to it, but getting to even 1 HP there is pretty unusual. So there is a little cause for concern there. Axe once again, I'm going to point out, slightly under geode. Compared to what most runners are looking for, about 200 in this section. So I
I
am
don't
going to
think that's a problem at all. It'll be a bigger problem later on for the King Station split, but for now it'll actually be completely fine. I'm gonna guess he'll be like 810 or so after that at dash slash. Also,
all right.
both runners getting first try shade skips, no shade fireballs. So again,
Yeah.
great RNG.
And I think I can't quite remember who it is, but somebody mentioned that there's 2 levels. I think it was visuals actually. There's basically these two. He considers there to be 2 levels of like really high tier speedrunning. There's knowing the right thing to do all the time, and then there's knowing what to do when something goes wrong, knowing the exact right thing to do, and how to minimize time loss when bad RNG happens or when you make a mistake. And that can apply to a lot of things. That can apply to geo routing, soul routing, And I think it's something that I
Enemy
would,
position.
yeah, enemy positioning.
That lamp was so satisfying.
So that is something I think as I try to become a higher level runner, I'll try to pay attention to is what to do when the RNG is just really bad and not on your side, because both of these runners are making pretty great examples of what to do without the perfect setup in every situation.
I think that's the biggest RNG deviation we've seen so far, with the lower row forcing Spicy to miss one of the husks, costing him, I think it's 8 geo.
Yeah.
Still on a comfortable level though, just a bit less comfortable.
Mhm. Here we'll see how much Geo Ax is coming in with. Should be around 724. Yeah, he's actually totally fine. I don't even know where he got. Oh, Spicy
Oh,
missing.
that's also coincidentally why I prefer lower route there later, after getting dash slash.
Because it's so easy to just go down there. It's almost natural movement, or
Yeah, playing
yeah,
good is impossible.
yeah. So I believe lower route is faster, but doesn't collect quite as much soul as easily. Is that what I've heard?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh,
Oh, Axe going
I
for plenty of extra
hit.
slashes on these hoppers, getting, I believe. Oh boy.
He's a bit low on soul, but just two nail there on that one, and he's got it.
Geo
Yeah,
collection actually means that he's farther ahead than what I believe most runners end up buying Dash Slash with. I was completely exaggerating what the amount of geo he would be needing here.
yeah.
Turns out it's not only not a problem, but he actually has more geo now than I would have expected.
Axe is no longer poor, and we got the dash slash.
Get a dash slash. Axe very good about not giving away the free slashes himself, but there's nothing barring us from doing the same. Spicy actually going for another different strat on the hoppers, going for up slashes on both the first two, which is something
I
I've not seen.
I think that looked like Spicy did a brain fart, basically. Because
Really worked out.
yeah,
You think he was trying to do the second wave on the strats on the first wave?
I think he just ended up doing a dash instead of a jump, which is like the more usual way to handle that.
I see.
Because it didn't look very intentional, that second dash in the air there.
So here, we'll coming up on Ax's screen, we'll be seeing both our first lever skip and our first dark room in the run. So the lever skips are something exclusive to this patch. Even older patches do not have it, newer patches do not have it. You hit that lever right through the floor, and that leads you into an area. It's skipping a few enemy gauntlets, and it makes the room behind that door completely dark. Fortunately, the geometry there is pretty simple, with just a couple of dashes and 2 hops being enough to navigate around it. But that is something we will continue to see throughout this race. Not in combination like that, where a lever leads to a dark room, but both the lever skips and the dark rooms are something pretty prominently featured in all skills that a lot of other runs don't quite have.
I'm really enjoying Spicy's movement here. Just like in the general dashes and timings of everything.
His barometer, you say?
His movement.
Oh, his movement. Okay.
Ooh,
Oh, those guys are giving.
too fast.
Yeah. The those husk sentries can get in your way. Only after the lever skip, pretty much. You should be able to hit the lever consistently, but where they are positioned afterwards is very RNG, and they really wanted to come after him there, just hovering inside of his hitbox during his iframes, but he manages to get out before they're able to do any additional damage, and even managing to do the dark room while being pursued a little bit. So that was nice to see from him. Both runners seem to have taken 1 damage from them. Both of them having similar soul counts. Spicy choosing to go for a double fireball on that first soul twister. I believe Ax did the same, or he would have more soul here.
At least Ax did not miss that dash slash on that lever skip this time, which he has really struggled with lately.
It is a very hard trick.
timing the dash slash inside the elevator.
Yeah, it's something that has cost top runners just all across Sweden huge amounts of time loss. Sweden specifically, I'm not sure why. But sorry, I'm memeing a little too hard here. It is a trick that most people will know how to get first try. Ax does know how to get it first try. It was just he could have had a run that would have been close to world record, I believe, if he had not missed that skip twice yesterday. But you know, ifs, ands, and buts don't really count for anything.
12 seconds lost, and he ended up like 20 behind world record.
Yeah. So
clean
wow.
Another clean execution of Soulmaster.
Yeah, I believe getting one of the fastest possible kills there. The only difference could have been that the Soulmaster can give a slightly better attack for his first couple of attacks. But barring RNG, pretty much exactly what you'd want to see.
Yeah. Barely. He made sure that the pattern barely lost any time at all.
So here, hopefully, I'll be able to point out exactly what Spicy is doing to set up this quick kill. He's going to dash just barely, slightly to the right of the underside of Soulmaster, do a fireball to the right, which will hit the Soulmaster as well as the Soul on the left side. And he gets RNG out of the quick kill completely, missing a fireball just because the Soulmaster decides to do an early dive. It's pretty unusual for the fight to start that way. Very unlucky when it does happen. But
and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's just tragic. But
still saved it very well though.
Oh yeah, but I think that will be the biggest RNG time loss for either of these runners, which is quite unfortunate considering Spicy was the one who was already behind and was looking to catch up. There will be other opportunities for that, but I don't believe Hornet 2 RNG is probably the closest thing that could make up for it.
Yeah, either Hornet 2 or THK, or not even THK in this category actually.
Yeah.
Ooh, funny, cool strat coming up from Ax. That dash slash is just... I think it saves like a second over any other strat for that room or something. And it looks cool as well, so...
Yeah, I'll be very interested to see Monster's stats. Just how the dash slash is used compares to average time in a race. Or not dash slash, just nail arts used. He's keeping track of all these statistics, including how many nail arts each player uses throughout the run. And it seems like top level runners tend to go for slightly more. Really knowing where to charge up your nail when it... Oh, missing an inventory drop there, just a little bit on Ax's screen. But really knowing where to charge up that nail and where that extra range or extra cyclone slash can help you out is not something I think that many runners will practice until they have hundreds and hundreds of hours in the game. There's micro optimizations, as I like to call
them. Oh, I've actually forgotten to pay much attention to the geo counts. Oh, Ax having a very, very comfortable 302 there.
Yep, 300.
So now he can farm some soul for C peak time save later, which is always comfy. Oh, bad positioning from that sentry.
Yeah, needing to get 2 pogos to get across it. Not quite what you want, but I'm sure he's fine with it in a race setting. Yeah, so 300 geo is actually the exact amount that you want for this. Was that a scurry look up,
Spicy,
or...
please. Ah.
Oh, was he on 1 HP? Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
yes. Yes, he is. Oh,
Alright.
sorry.
So he'll be...
Yes, actually, Ax does the scary look up instead of look down because he feels that distinguishes it from all the other look down people, and he lets that carry him completely. To be honest, nail early control, really well executed.
Mm-hmm. Getting that timing is deceptively difficult. You only have a couple of seconds before you land. Not even seconds, a few fractions of a second before you land and get that hard fall. Really need to make sure you are charging that nail art as early as you can and releasing it as early as you can to get that dash off.
For sure. Also, the load normalizer we're using. Oh, Spicy missing the fancy jump. The load normalizer slightly affects that maybe if it extends your loads, so your nail, it will pause and it will cause your nail to only start charging later in the pause than you would expect normally.
Wow, that would be difficult to adapt to. Personally, I've not really had to look into that, but it does sound a little frustrating if you have just really good muscle memory there to be
If you
needing
have if you have really good muscle memory for really long loads, as a certain Ax2u does.
to.
Pogax. Woo.
Oh, Gax, woo.
Oh,
Dude,
early control from Spicy as well, by the way.
oh, excellent.
Impressive.
It looks like we have some underplat fans in the chat. I think we can expect an underplat from Axe. If not here, then in the distant village. Ooh, Axe getting,
Oh,
I
God
believe, God
Cycle.
Pixel. Was it God Cycle or God
That was
Pixel?
God Cycle.
It was,
The
okay. I
laser
always,
had not actually started yet, so holy. Okay, he impresses me more.
going through CP's completely damageless, getting the perfect cycles. God Cycle, okay. I have a varied,
God
non,
Pixel is God Pixel is basically when you get the laser to or the A laser shoots, and you go between the laser's hitbox and the crystal hit, like the enemy hitbox. And the God Cycle is when what happened there, where he just completely skipped the laser, like all the way.
yeah, I always have a hard time telling the difference, not because I don't know what the two mean, which I'm glad you explained for
Yeah.
chat, but just because I never go for either one, and the timing on God Cycle is so tight, it always looks to me as if the laser is starting as the runner is going through, but Surf unable to tell the difference for us.
Also underplat. Woo!
Woo! He Axe managing to do the damage tank cycle because he was on 5 HP, saving a little extra time there. Spicy just missing both God Pixel and the God Cycle there, but not going to make a huge difference. I do wonder if that will change his opinion on whether he will damage tank through this first cycle as an 90% runner would, or go for one of the safer damageless cycles that typically all skills runners will do, just because they have a large section where taking damage and dying would be very unfortunate that any percent just doesn't have in it. And that is the acquiring of D-Dark. Serpent, if you want to talk a little bit about the dark room strats we'll see here, I'm sure we'll be seeing the fastest method for Max here. I think we just saw a bit of a wall cling storage there too.
I don't know what I don't know what to say even about this. It's just mesmerizing how it's just jumping and dashing from one platform to the next, and they're all so small and all dark, and you can't see anything, and it's just
Yeah.
yeah, it's just
Ah,
mesmerizing.
another
Yeah.
under-platform spicy. You love to see it. But yeah, that dark room actually not caused by a lever skip or anything like that. That is from skipping the lantern, which is something that we do in this category because it costs 1800 geo, which would require not only some relic collection but also visiting Lem, which we do not do throughout this entire run. That was something I was interested in learning right as I started learning this category, was the fact that the geo is routed so that we never have to sell any relics to Lem. So we skip the entire left side of city outside of Soul Sanctum, basically. And that does make the run a lot faster than it otherwise would be. But that does mean that every runner will have to go through some dark rooms in order to yeah, as sort of almost punishment for skipping that. But with the proper strats, you can get through them very, very quickly, even in the pitch black. We'll be seeing if Spicy will follow up on Ax's performance, doing all dash strats, very likely again for someone of his time. Ooh, it looked like he fell there, but he knew where he
Yeah.
was going. But
He-
yeah,
I I think he just clutched it back in with a. I think he just clutched it back in with that dash.
yeah. Unfortunately, he does take a damage tank towards the end, which in dark rooms, oh, maybe he
Bro,
does.
that was on purpose.
Yeah, so he actually seems like he has labbed out a slightly different strat for the dark room that he's
Ax,
comfortable with.
Ax, what are you doing? You have. He did it twice in a row though, Gonky. Why is Ax doing any percent? Did
You
he
love to
forget
see it, apparently. So, I
Spicy
think.
doing spicy climbing and Crystal Mound?
hmm I think we'll be seeing Spicy show off the usual strat at Dream Nail, unless this is something the runners have agreed upon. Make the race closer. I see. Um,
I don't know if
theory
the
in chat.
creator of Vengeful Spirit 2 actually does stuff on purpose, like literally ever.
As if he didn't do Vengeful Spirit for comedic value. Um, we'll actually see if. Here we go. 1 second. Alright. So, Axe is coming in on the Watcher Knight fight, a fight that is incredibly fast in the all skills run. Coming in with D-Dark, one of the most powerful spells in the game, will be able to shred through these knights in just 3 quick casts. And in old patch specifically, having enough iframes to just chain them together without any consequences or chance of getting hit. The only nuance would be not wanting the Watchers to roll apart. Or rather, for the third set, wanting them to roll together. Saw him get rid of that first set. Oh, that's unfortunate. Already
His any
starting a
percent,
bump.
his any percent knowledge is just being shown so well there, though. How fast he actually reacts out of his D-Darks into how quickly he just reacts. Oh, both runners doing any percent real plats.
Is this something they've agreed upon? It's hard to
Yeah.
tell. It is hard to tell if this is intentional. Maybe Spicy was watching Axe's stream or hearing our commentary and deciding to go out of their way to show off the dream plats, or maybe this is something they agreed upon beforehand. Either way, I do enjoy it. There's a little bit of extra movement there. The C dash actually does remove most of the interesting movement from that section. You just hop up on one of the roofs of the pavilions in the dream world and just C dash through about 70% of that section. Only needing to make, I think, 2 or 3 dashes or jumps at the end. If you get that, but both runners opting to just take the time loss and have a little bit more fun.
We have a message from chat to Spicy here. If you did the dream plats on purpose like that, please hop twice.
I'm unsure where he'd hop. I don't feel like I'd want to hop if I was heading into the Watcher Knight fight. Maybe after waking up from Lurien or something like that.
I mean, this confirms that it was accidental, to be honest.
I see. Not on purpose. Mokas. That would actually be a crazy coincidence if Spicy was not watching stream and just happened to make the same exact mistake as X.
Like, did you see that? Did you see the difference between the runners? Ax got in the 2D darks like that and read the roll perfectly, and Shade so perfectly to like get the first kill, like as immediate as possible, even with roll RNG, and it's just.
I actually did not see. Did Spicy get a roll out of the first Watcher Knight?
Yeah, he got the first normal attack to get off the 2D darts, and
I see.
then a roll attack, which he finished off safely, of course, but lost a couple of seconds due to not reading it soon enough.
Yeah, I think he actually might have had a slightly faster Watcher Knight fight just because they stacked up a little better for him at the end.
Yeah,
With Axe
that's very
having to go
possible.
through for several Shade Souls in the second two, which is all RNG. I believe I've heard a runner say, I should be talking about this Yzma skips that Axe is doing here. He got Spike Tunnel first try, which is the hardest part of the trick. I will be expecting first tries on both of the following parts, which is this acid skip and one coming up over here. I believe he goes for setupless. Yeah, which is, so the setupless version of that trick involves clinging to the wall at any point instead of a specific height, and then canceling the C dash, dashing into the wall and jumping back, getting some sort of a dash jump, I believe it's called.
Yeah, something. I don't think anyone's ever found a good name for it.
But he gets a dash jump and gets around the corner in an alternative method that doesn't require a specific height to jump around. I
Dash
believe
cancel is not a good name for it.
dash cancel, yeah.
It's not like the whole point is that it does preserve the dash completely, and that's why dash cancel is not a good name for it in the slightest.
Dash jump, dash jump.
Dash jump, dash jump. Spicy coming up to the Isma skips. I wonder if he'll take the Aspire safety bench, actually.
I find that pretty unlikely.
Yeah, same, but you never know. Because sometimes you just actually start thinking, what if I completely mess this up?
Yeah, that's true. I do believe if he were to start going for safety strats like that,
Yeah.
I do know that X is quite far ahead of him, but it would essentially amount to giving up the race because I don't think you're ever going to beat a player like X with safety strats like that. But he does actually opt for a heal because he took 2 damage while collecting soul from the various husks on the way, which
Yeah.
will lose him a bit of time, but not as much as going for the bench would have, I believe. Ooh, missing that first jump there, perhaps aborting, not feeling like he was on the right rhythm for that trick. Rhythm is very important to that. Making sure that your dash comes right after your pogo on those spikes. Axe, in the meantime, going through the Malark room, taking 2 damage. I believe 1 is an intentional damage tank, and 1 being unfortunate RNG. Confident going into the Broken Vessel fight with just 3 HP and full soul. Ooh, Spicy actually missing. It seems like he's going for the setupless strat, but not quite getting it. And instead opts for now the normal setup, which will carry him around the corner quite easily. It looks like that worm will not be chasing him. So he'll be missing out on some time on the early control. Oh, no, it does come hit him perhaps a little later than it might have otherwise, but...
Oh, just a minor major glitch there as well.
Minor major glitch?
minor major glitch. I think some interaction storage or something
Oh, did he
from
get
the
the
early control.
did he
And
get the crystal heart glitch?
similar. It's when you, instead of getting the crystal heart slightly forwardy glitch, he
Hmm.
got it from they got it from trying using focus and trying to heal, which is,
Oh,
it's pretty much the same thing, I
ooh.
think.
Spicy
It's
getting
just ah,
chased down on his bridge. That bridge is very heavily RNG. There's 3 enemies. Each and every one of them can be in your way or out of your way. To get all 3 of them there feels quite good, but he actually got stopped by, I believe, the first one and having to dodge through the rest of them on 1 HP.
there
Fortunately,
is there is a consistency dash back up there if you know about it and perform it correctly. But I can, on 1 HP there in a tournament setting, I understand just going for the safe dashes instead,
hmm.
because it's very easy to mess up if you try to like just lab that out in the middle of the race.
And I would just like to point out what we were talking about, these easement skips, which were very important. Axe, in the meantime, had completely demolished the broken vessel. Very likely getting a strat where you start out with 160 damage from 2 guaranteed Shade Souls at the beginning, and then just finishing it off with a few D-Darks. Hopefully we can see something similar from Spicy soon, so we'll be able to commentate over that. Looks like, I don't believe that first Malark is RNG if you can go for the exact same movements every time. Though
No.
opting to D-Dark that one and use the iframes to go through that Malark, taking another hit of damage, I believe entirely RNG on that second one, or on that other Malark.
It's not. It's not
No.
completely RNG, but if you're trying to go as fast as possible, it's practically RNG. Where exactly the angle lands, that's bit.
Mhm.
Also, I think there's, if I was to like guesstimate off of like eyesight right now, I'd say there's about 2 minutes between the runners.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very likely possible because Spicy still needs to fight the Broken Vessel, acquire their wings, and then get all the way over to the Kingdom's Edge, where Axe is just now beginning to start the Hornet fight.
Yeah.
Spicy did get that damage strat I was talking about earlier. 1 Shade Soul during the scream, 1 Shade Soul immediately after, and now he has the best attack, the RNG you'd love to see. Oh, knowing it seems the exact amount of damage he needed to deal with the Broken Vessel there, just opting for a single nail swing. But now we have Axe in the Hornet fight, if you want to commentate over that. Not the Hornet expert.
Just watch them be in awe, to be honest. Like some of those turnarounds and some of those turnarounds on the Shade Souls into doubles are just, they're beautiful to see actually. And that was a very clean Hornet too, outside of a couple of pieces in the middle there.
Yeah, Axe throughout the race with, other than the dream platforms, I have to say, no real major time losses anywhere. At least not to
Like
my eye.
even with major time losses, like, or a quote unquote major time losses, like missing a couple of like missing the first fireball skip, then some other fumbles on platforms early game. It's just the rest of his movement carries him so well that it it's like it barely happens, and it's just I don't understand it.
The miracle of Axe runs.
The miracle of an elite runner,
Indeed. Yeah, that's true.
right?
I shouldn't be crediting Axe specifically or every top tier runner, which we have several in this tournament here. Pisces, Vis,
Monster,
Monster. How could anyone forget the current world record holder? Um,
that one Russian guy
Run
who
Rush.
made an SLCD cleaner.
The Russian hacks. So many runners are fond of these days, the keyboard players. But almost all these top runners can just pull time saves seemingly out of nowhere. You know, with lesser runners being able to see to quite easily catch some of the basic mistakes they make, but not quite being able to fathom where they pick up the extra time and still manage to finish several minutes ahead. Are we?
What is Spicy doing here? Okay, he's
I actually saw the strat in a randomizer or something.
Fun fact: doing that C dash, I think, can at the very best save you 0.1 second. Like, with absolutely perfect execution, and that's, I think, pretty much impossible.
Well, with that swag strat, I hope Spicy had a little bit of fun. Someone asking in chat what happened to Ax's UI. We can talk a little bit about that after the Hornet fight. It has something to do with early control, but it's very predictable and not actually that weird. But we see Spicy here being able to push Hornet into a corner early, which is what you want to see. It will allow for more doubles potentially, though actually she does a short hop there. Not quite giving him what he wants to see there.
I think you actually don't want her in a corner. If you want to go for doubles, I mean.
It depends on who you are, I think, because it was actually Pisces who mentioned that you do want her in a corner, but maybe different runners go for different strats.
Can you clear the spike ball, Spicy, please? This is very uncomfortable. Oh.
With 3 HP, I actually don't feel like you needed to worry too much about them. I'm very comfortable with knowing exactly where those spikes are.
Yeah, maybe so, but I've had enough unfortunate accidents with those that I don't trust them.
They are quite scary. Hornet is actually one of the few bosses who can alter her arena like that to where you suddenly have to react to either leaving those spikes up as permanent obstacles where you know where they are, or trying to clear them out and having them spawn back in different places over and over again. Most runners, unless they're extremely in the way and just getting fireballed anyway, opting to leave them. I
Also
already
now,
forgot to... Oh, go ahead.
Now we are seeing the same invisible HUD thingy you mentioned earlier, actually, on Spicy's screen.
Yes, that's actually exactly what I was about to talk about. Yeah, so when you... There's something to get early control at the beginning of the Hornet animation there, or the end of the Hornet animation, I should say. You start holding a dash slash, and then you release it right as the knight moves upward, and that will cause the knight to be visible, but not the HUD. Apparently it did rectify itself before he even sat on a bench. I guess just going through transition can reset it?
If you open up your inventory, you get it back. It's just the UI just doesn't get refreshed without doing the actual stand-up animation state, I think. It's kind of similar to if you get hit in King's Pass or something before your HUD has started actually being visible. You won't see that you've lost a mask of health, but you will have lost a mask of health.
I see. Oh. So Ax, of course, going for the 2-cycle strategy that is commonplace in all skills. They'll be luring Umu to just above that right-hand platform, and then going for a few nail hits to push him into the wall, along with a double hit fireball right there. And that 4th nail hit is the most important one to my understanding. Making sure he goes all the way through, but he misses.
How did that fail? Did he fireball too early on the last ones?
I have no idea. It looked very good to me. This quick kill can be somewhat of a mystery to even high-level runners.
Go for the 2-cycle then.
We'll have to ask him actually in the interview after what he thought he did wrong there, because I don't think either of us are able to see what happened.
Oh, look at these chained Walkling storages through the water, and it's just... That's a strat I think Monsta found, or not found, a couple of runners have done it, but one of the first ones I saw do it in a big runs was Monster recently, and just yeah, I, I don't even know how to describe it.
Apparently, I mentioned that Ax was going for a 2 cycle at the beginning. Very unlikely. I think he will be going for the 1 cycle, but yeah. I'm used to any percent where the 2 cycle is the fastest that you can do Umu, but not quite the case when you have Shade Soul and Shaman and Out of Bounds technology. Though I think a current patch inbounds 1 cycle has been found now.
Yeah, a runner named Underline who is taking a bit of a break from the community and stuff right now, or just a break from the internet. He found a D dart, luring Umu to the center and then using a D dart and then whacking Umu a bit up before Shade Soul spamming is actually a consistent 1 cycle setup which works in the current patch. But it's also kind of cursed to execute, so
Yeah.
do with that what you may.
Most things on current patch, at least a little bit cursed to execute. But aside from that, it looks like we are having a pretty good run here. Shout out Stonder, by the way. IFLU. Can't really say what that's abbreviated for, but I'm sure most people here know. Spicy on his way into Umu, going for the 1 cycle, hopefully not the 2 cycle. Actually, maybe able to save a little bit of time here on Ax. He's about a full boss behind him, a little bit more, but you know, a 20 seconds could mean the difference between, you know, a few more mistakes from Ax. You know, it brings the race a lot closer to where there would be potential maybe for Spicy to overtake. So it's actually quite critical that he gets this 1 cycle here. Now, I personally don't know Umu too well. I don't know if it's possible to get the 1 cycle consistently with an extra attack, but
oh, you can 100% get it consistently if you just know how to maneuver Umu after the extra attack.
Fortunately, Spicy not having to demonstrate that knowledge at all, gets the 1 cycle with the normal RNG and saves again about 20 seconds. So I think he'll be quite happy about that. This does bring the race significantly closer. I'll try to see what time Ax picks up that Great Slash. And actually, I just realized how far apart the timers are. Yeah. Ax's timer is almost a full minute ahead. Or
that's
behind
how
her.
Much small. That's just how much small details actually matter.
It really is. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think the biggest time losses from Spicy being maybe the exit from the Spire bench to the exit from Spire bench all the way to Yzma skips. Where he had to heal a few times. I don't recall him.
Skips. Otherwise, I kind of want to say this might be PB pace for him, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, he did get pretty rough Soulmaster RNG too, so I have no idea what that looks like in comparison to his PB, but definitely looking like a very fast run from him. If anybody knows his personal best times,
I know his PB was a high 54. This could be like a 53, maybe even.
I think somebody mentioned that he might have a 5400 as of yesterday, or something like that.
It was not submitted as of yet, at least. Maybe.
Okay.
Searching up his to see if he shared something, and the Discord name is Spicies. A comfy reference to former world record holder.
It's a 5400 with a 14-second gold on the Hollow Knight.
Oh.
Yeah,
Then it might be tougher to match. Yeah.
yeah, and it's a apparently his second personal best of the week because yeah, only or not a 14-second goal. Sorry, it was 14 seconds saved on the final split. So he must have actually gotten a low 54 just earlier in the week. It's pretty incredible to be PBing that consistently at such a high level, I would say. A lot of runners will start to go weeks without PBs, even with much lower times. Or lower times, higher times.
Ax
Spicy.
having a great Wraiths arena. Entering Queen's Garden at full health, which is super comfy because of some almost get all like semi-guaranteed RNG hits in Dark Deepness later and a guaranteed damage tank.
I believe Ax was that something like 40 minutes or was it 41? I believe it was 40 minutes earlier when we were calling out the Great Slash acquisition. So it seems like Spicy is almost 3 minutes away. Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds kind of accurate actually. Like there's been almost no big mistakes, but sometimes like this all the small things that you'd barely notice when you lose like a second to maybe 3 like every second split, wait, every second screen, that adds up really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Axe really demonstrating what the top level of Hollow Knight looks like, which is expected from him personally. I don't know how controversial. Oh wow, actually taking a Thorn damage tank there, getting warped all the way back. Bit of a time loss, bit of a throw off the rhythm maybe. We'll see if that affects his Dark Room. Likely not.
As our act as the Zero who just coincidentally raided us would have said, "Oh my god, Axe is trash."
Comms
Like,
curse, truly. Zero, thank you for the raid. It's here for the stonks apparently. Um,
Spicy having a hard time with this acid skip.
yeah,
And
it's not completely free, but a little bit easier than some of the other acid skips we do. There's no risk, of course, of taking damage if you miss it. Though there is always going to be a bit of time loss. Axe made it through Dark Deep Nest without any problems other than the that first spike dunk he did.
wasn't it a thorn dunk?
Thorn dunk, spikes, thorns.
Well,
One
that
of the
was
spiky
a.
plants.
This is a significantly less clean Wraith arena. Will not stop to heal.
There is an option to heal there before you get the rates because it will bring you to full soul regardless of how much you have left. But obviously that would be a small time loss. It can be a little bit risky to go into Queen's Gardens with anything less than full HP just because there is one guaranteed spiked or thorn warp that they do. So he'll be entering Dark Deep Nest if he doesn't heal with 3 HP. Which can be a little spooky if you feel there's a chance of making another mistake there, but with
I
with
think,
maximum confidence should be able to get through their damage list.
yeah, just gotta remember that cannot make a single mistake.
Yes, just relax and make no mistakes at all.
There is room for one mistake. That's good enough.
Yeah.
Well,
The
also,
devout's dealing 2 damage there. Actually, having dealt oh my goodness. You missed one of the shade souls on one of those mantises, which means he'll be already starting with a little less soul and less HP now than he probably would like to. So we'll see whether he just pogos some enemies on the way there or he decides to dream nail the moss bag, so to speak, on the way into Deep Nest.
I actually find it faster on those moss bags to just
Yeah,
It
he's
it
pogoing
don't
and
just
slashing at
uses
absolutely every enemy in this area.
yeah. Like I think on those two husks down here, the moss husks,
Mm-hmm.
just doing that is faster. Just using nail to whack one of them closer
Yeah,
and
and then
get
being
the
able to get the
double hits.
yeah.
Like, because Dream Nail is a very, very slow tool.
It really is. And it does try to make up for it a little bit by giving you three soul per hit, but um probably if you timed it still a little slower than getting double hits on the two
Yeah.
thorny things. But in other news, Axe actually basically on the home stretch of this run are going for the sibling climb, which is the last real scary part of this run, I would say. Probably not too scary for him. I wager he's done it 1,000 times, though he will immediately demonstrate that these things do, in fact, do 2 damage per hit, which can be terrifying if you come in on less than full HP. However, consistent runners are going to come in here with 5 HP every time, so even 2 damage tanks won't really put them at too much risk. I really have to stop commentator cursing at every 2 minutes because it does seem to quite consistently mess up the runners. Just yesterday, I was commentating that someone was on personal best pace on the abyss climb, and only to lead them to fall down to 1 HP and need to heal on the way up, which tragically did put them out of PB range. But Axe
Yeah.
here on quite the pace. I don't believe personal best pace.
No. This is not a 50. This is not a low 50 pace. I think you could get a 50-50 or something from this though.
Yeah, which still is incredible. I think
Like that's
I
incredible with when he throws away 20 seconds to 20%.
yeah, I was just about to
And
say that I think to remark on the consistency of this player. For
oh my
since
god,
he's returned from all skills,
he's
um,
going
oh,
he's going for a best streak world record.
oh, is he?
Yeah.
Is he going? Did he go for some sort of RNG C dash or?
Oh no, it's just good decent execution.
I see, I see. But
Oh, of course he misses the pogo.
mm,
That pogo
the
is literally impossible.
the Bistrik world record being, I believe, probably one of the more prestigious split records, just because there is no RNG, I believe, which is made it strange for me to ask whether he went for an RNG C dash. But a very short segment, all execution, I believe.
Oh,
But he manages to get the Bistrik, which is the last ability, and now he'll be making his way to the Hollow Knight, which will require a short climb out of the Abyss. Can't quit out to a bench because getting the Shade Cloak does hard save you to that area. Spicy coming in, I believe, about 4 minutes behind Axe, a little less than 4 minutes, 340, I think.
I think it's like 3 flat.
3 flat.
Yeah. The Abyss is really quick actually. And considering Dax hasn't left yet, so
Yep, that's true. Well, Axe leaving. If you could put these players' screens right next to each other, Axe would be or like if they were in the same world in some sort of multiplayer setup, they would be walking right past each other, going through that the entrance to the Abyss there.
another clean Abyss climb as well.
Yeah, and something I was going to mention about the consistency of Axe is having only returned to all skills about a month ago for the sake of this tournament, I don't believe I've seen him finish a run that's above a low 51. And even that low 51 was the first 51 that I had seen from him since returning to this category, with every run he was finishing previously being 50-50, 50-13, 50-06. It's quite remarkable.
Also,
Really not the person to bet against if you're looking for deaths in a race or something like that.
I mean, you do gain a ton if he does die
It's
because of
true.
the odds.
Yeah.
Spicy
Maybe.
doing a very good sibling climb, by the way. Especially considering he had really poor RNG there. Like, there was no way for him to pogo, and he was forced into taking a very long way around. It looked like, to me at least.
Yeah, Spicy was facing some pretty difficult RNG there. I will not commentator curse this. I think we're going to focus on Ax here. Was going to say something, but I'll keep my mouth shut this time. Ax is coming up on the Hollow Knight fight, the final fight of this category. A little RNG heavy, though not usually going to lead to deaths or huge time losses. Just some missed damage, which will make the fight longer, but not by too much, just because every single shriek here does 120 damage if it goes off properly and doesn't get blocked or teleported out of. And that is easily compared to the second most powerful spell, the Descending Dark, which only does 88. So this one doing about just 30% more damage overall, and he's just hitting every single shriek. I think getting pretty fortunate RNG there.
He didn't miss one that I saw, but his experience in this game is just, it's amazing how good top runners can just stick to those broken hitboxes of the Hollow Knight.
This is a really low 50.
This is a freaking mid 50. Oh,
That is absolutely incredible. I don't know how much time Dream platforms lose with the any percent setup, but like this could have been close to PB, like real PB, from X, if he had not gone for that strategy. Oh, and the 20-second time loss to Umu.
This would have been world. This could have been world record if not for any percent Dream Plats and a 2-cycle Umu.
Oh my god. Okay. Can we get any Emre imagines in the chat for if that would have happened? Oh, Spicy's doing a damage tank. We got to remember the race not quite over. With Spicy choosing to finish up here. Not entirely sure if he knows that Ax is finished, but probably safe to assume, even if he was not to be watching, that Ax would be finishing around this time.
You know what? Spicy could PB by like 5 to 10 seconds, maybe.
Yeah, we could see. We could see.
I
that was actually what I was going to say down in the abyss when he was getting Shade Cloak, is I noticed his time. I don't believe it would take 4 minutes from Shade Cloak to beat the Hollow Knight, but I didn't want to say anything. But we could be seeing a 53 from Spicy here. I do believe we should mark Ax as finished. Yeah, and I'll do that right now. And then the audio will automatically switch over to Spicy. We are seeming to get a slightly lower quality for some reason. I doubt that that's from Spicy specifically, but it's possible.
I think.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll only be listening to it for about a minute longer. Hopefully not too much longer than that if he's looking for a personal best here.
Wait. Is Marilord in chat here spreading misinformation?
I do think that he'll probably just barely miss PB here, looking at it. A Hollow Knight fight being under 1 minute, not something incredibly likely. No, I don't think it's possible.
Sub is 56. Breaking the chain take about 20 seconds. So yeah.
Yeah, not going to happen here today, but the fact that both runners have played so incredibly close to PB, both runners going for the any percent Dream platforms. Again, this could have been a PB without that bit of a meme there. We will have to be asking both runners at the end of this how intentional that was. But here, we'll focus on Spicy's his Shriek fight first. Once again, not missing too many Shrieks. You really don't want to be seeing too many dashes out of the Hollow Knight here, or teleports. Both of them losing significant amount of
Oh.
times over other attacks.
I'm actually really impressed by how Spicy managed to skip the first scream with that many dashes. That means he really knows the fight. Did you say?
Yeah, we'll see if he can get a scream skip here, which would be a bit of a time save. Oh my goodness.
There we
That
go.
was a very, very fast Hollow Knight fight. I believe about 1 minute? It's going maybe a little bit over. A 1 minute, 5 second Hollow Knight fight? It's pretty great.
Yeah. Freaking GG.
GG. Believe Ax will be joining us very shortly, along with Spicy, hopefully. Love to interview both of these players after such an amazing run. Both of them showcasing, I would say, the top of their skill. We'll try to get both of them in here real quick.
Let's mark Spicy as done, even if that loses music audio, maybe.
Yeah, it should lose music audio on his game, but then it should play some set music from our restream bot.
Maybe.
Yeah. I believe that's how it's supposed to work. Hello, Ax. Welcome. Congratulations on that time there and on the win.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
All right. Is Spicy here too now? Hello, welcome.
I'm here.
All right. A very incredible race from both of you guys, both within just a little over 20 seconds of your PBs, I believe. Which is, again, just the quality of race that you love to see in tournaments like this. All right, so the most important pressing question for both of you. Dream platforms. Was it agreed upon before the race? Was it a mistake? Did Spicy decide to follow up after seeing Ax do it in the moment? Or what is going on here, guys?
Sorry, my mic cut out. What did I miss?
We're asking about the dream platforms. You guys both chose to go for the any percent format, so we had to wonder, was that planned? Did Ax do it first on accident and then you chose to follow up? Or was it just two completely separate errors?
Yeah, so at least speaking for myself, I just started going for them, and then about halfway through, I noticed that I hadn't done the C dash, but at that point it's kind of too late to readjust, so I just had to go through with it. It was just a pure mistake for me, at least.
It's exactly the same for me. Unfortunately, it wasn't some moment of sportsmanship. I just forgot I wasn't running crew ending.
And were you watching the stream at all? Were you perhaps subliminally
I
messaged
was, but I
there
didn't notice that Ax did it. I didn't notice.
Okay, how does it feel to know you both might have been an any percent dream plats away from PBing both of you?
Kind of.
I was looking at my splits, like I had splits open under the timer, and I only lost like, what was it, 2 or 3 seconds to those dream platforms, so I guess the C-dash there doesn't save that much time.
What hurts more for me is knowing I probably lost a PB to falling before Gorgeous Husk.
Wow, yeah, that was a rough time save earlier on. Or rough time loss.
Yeah, that was tournament nerves.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, falling down there. At least it doesn't feel quite as bad as falling and taking damage on the way to the lever skip, but still pretty rough.
Yeah.
That was what happened in my first race. I ended up dying on lever skip because a great husk whacked me for 2 damage.
Oh, no.
But that's neither here nor there. Congratulations to both of you. Again, with the amazing coincidence of the dream platforms. Ax, I believe, just missing PB also with the 2-cycle Umu. We did want to ask you what you thought happened there, because neither of us could tell what exactly went wrong.
Honestly, I know that what happened, like, the reason I didn't 2-cycle was that the first fireball after my nail slashers did not do a double hit. I could hear that from the sound effects, but I honestly don't know why. Maybe I just fired it too soon after the nail hit and it only singled because of that, but really, I I don't know. I really don't know.
I was basically about to call it out that oh god, we have the first for one cycle, and then suddenly no.
Yeah, I definitely felt like it should have one cycled, but this game does that sometimes, I guess. It happens. I lost 26 seconds to that, so this would have been a PB with a one cycle, funnily enough.
Well, that was a very impressive race from both of you once again. I maybe we'll try to let the interview go on a little bit longer to see if chat has any other questions or something. But I do think that that's about it for us. I believe both your
Also,
Hollow Knight
on
fights are pretty great, your Abyss climbs on point. But
on the note of Umu one cycle, Spicy, how does it feel? How does it feel to know that you got the one cycle and Ax2u fucked up?
You know, I can tell by that I'm obviously the superior runner.
Yeah.
Gotta give
You
it
know,
to
there's
him.
no doubt about it. No 4-minute time difference. I don't know what you're talking about.
yeah, without that
It's
fall
all
to
about
G
one
Husk,
cycle.
without that fall to G Husk, I do believe you would have been able to catch up there. So that is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Really
No,
don't.
I'm happy enough. I was nervous racing the Ax2u. I was like, he's going to have to mess up pretty bad, and I'm going to have to PB by a good margin for me to win this. So I was really nervous going in. I'm happy to play as well as I did.
Yeah, I'm glad we both had really good runs for our like compared to PV. So that's always a nice race when that happens.
So we do have one question from chat, and that is how to be good at the game. And that's actually a question I think both of the commentators can ask as well. Can one of you teach us how to get a 54 or a 50 flat or anything like that?
49.
49? Yeah.
Practice and play a lot.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
That about sums it up.
Maybe use hacks.
Oh, okay. Sounds a bit
Yeah,
easier.
you gotta have those Russian hacks. That's very integral to a gameplay. I don't care if you're in controller, you gotta have those.
BRB just downloading some Russian hacks right now.
Guess you could also run a glitched category and get a sub 54 pretty easily.
Well, unless anyone else has any questions, I think we're about ready to wrap it up here. Thank you to both the racers, to the audience for coming in and just allowing us to have a fun time here on the comms.
Yeah, thanks for the commentary,
And
guys.
thanks for coming on us. GGX.
Yeah, GG.